Hey, welcome everybody. This is CP Cards and Dice, and thanks for joining our Deep Drive 2019 Mets replay. This is your home for tutorials and strategy and player profiles, history, reviews, news, tips, tops baseball cards, rants, unboxings, and everything else. It's going to be Yu Darvish versus Jason Vargas. Yu Darvish was, looks like, 6-8 with a 3.98 ERA in 31 games, about 178 innings pitched. Jason Vargas was 7-9 with a 4.51 ERA in 30 games and 149 innings pitched. And it's going to be Mets at Wrigley. Let me quickly go over now. The Mets are one game back from the actual record of 2019. They're one game back. Let me tell you quickly what they're in the replay. They're 34-41 at this point, and in our replay, they are actually in our replay they're 34-41. In actuality, they were 35-40. So they were one game better than what we're doing here. And we're right about to get started. This is Deep Drive Baseball. This is a 50-50 game. You roll off the batter. You roll off the pitcher. The batter is 0-49. The pitcher is 50-99. Then there's a deep drive section on each card. On the top of the card, you'll see the player's name and then his positions and how they're rated. Generally, these players are rated by the metrics of the season. They kind of figure out a norm, and then everybody gets that norm. And if you're above or below that norm, that's how you're going to be rated. Same thing for base running. So it's all metrics based. It's not, observational or subjective. And you roll 3 D10. The first one you read is the red, then you read the white, and then the green is going to tell you, for example, it'll be informational. It'll tell you, okay, look at the out. I roll a D20 with runners on base for a 1. A 1 will tell you a pass ball, pick off, wild pitch, that sort of thing. Everything happens with realistic consistency in terms of, how many walks you get, how many ground out numbers in front of the plate that the catcher feels, those sorts of things are all happening with kind of consistent result. It's not happening too much. It's not happening too little. I think the game is put together very, very well. It's easy to play. It plays very fast, as you will see. So let's get started. Deep Drive Baseball. And I'm trying to get to the halfway point for the Mets season. To game 81. I'm at game 74. And the Mets lineup for today against, and we're using actual lineups. It was Jeff McNeil in right field. This is the first time I see him in right field for the Mets. Pete Alonso at first base, batting second, batting third is the Robinson Cano. Batting fourth is Michael Conforto. He's in center field tonight. I believe that's the first time I've seen him in center field. Dom Smith in left field. He bats fifth. Batting sixth is J.D. Davis, the third baseman. Adeiny Chavarria is allowing Ahmed Rosario to rest. He's at shortstop, batting seventh. Batting eighth is Thomas Nido, the catcher, resting Wilson Ramos, the everyday catcher. And it's going to be the lefty, as I mentioned, Jason Vargas. So we are ready to roll. In the outfield for the Cubs is going to be Schwarber in left, Moore in center, and Bryan in right. In the infield is going to be Bote at third, Baez at short, Russell at second, Rizzo at first. Behind the plate is Wilson Contreras, and on the mound is Yu Darvish. All right, here goes. And that's a 0-2 off McNeil. That's going to be a deep drive. And an 87, that's going to be one high. Oh, wait a second. Yeah. That is an out caught by Chris Bryant in right field. So he drove one in the gap in right field, and Chris Bryant ran it down. And we'll do a double check on that. Yes, he did. He ran it down. Great catch by Chris Bryant to rob Jeff McNeil, the flying squirrel, of a double. All right, it's Pete Alonso. He's next. And a 76 is a strikeout. So high fastball gets Alonso. 2 up, 2 down. Cano with a 56, and that's a ground ball up the middle and through for a base hit. So Cano's on with a 2-out base knock. He's on at first, and now we throw for the wild pitch. We don't get it. Michael Conforto, a 34 and a 4. Is a ground ball to the third baseman, Bote. He charges it, fires, and gets his man. Go to the bottom of the first, no score. It's pretty quick. Kyle Schwarber, left-handed batter, 57, and that's a little flare that drops in front of the left fielder, Smith. Chris Bryant with a runner on first, rolling for that wild pitch. We don't get it. A 16 is a base on balls. So both the first 2 runners reach base here against Jason Vargas. So it's a shaky start for the veteran Vargas. Anthony Rizzo. Rizzo, in 146 games, batted .293. I know he got off to a really slow start, but he ended up with a nice season with .293 batting average and 27 home runs, 94 runs batted in. Here's the pitch for the wild pitch. We don't get it. And the pitch to Rizzo, 74 and a 6. 74 and a 6 is going to be defensive check. So I'm going to have to look at the defensive chart. A 47 is going to take us to the range. And first baseman's range is a 3, so that's a ground ball to Alonso. Alonso's going to go to Chavarria, back to first, not in time. Anthony Rizzo hustling down the line. Keeps it from being a double play, so it's going to be a 3-6. And I'm going to double check that. Let's see. First and second and a 3-6 and a G3 is an I, and that says runner on first is forced out at second. So I was absolutely right on that. And it's Javi Baez with runner 1 out and runners on first and third. Mets are playing the infield back halfway in up the middle, trying for that double play to get out of this inning. And that's a 21 and a 9. It's not going to make it. 21 and 9 is a strikeout. Baez is fooled on the curveball. Swings wildly and loses an RBI opportunity there. And now it's Wilson Contreras. He's a right-handed batter. Catcher 1. That's a low-end catcher. Not a very good defensive rating for Contreras. We throw for the wild pitch. We don't get it. Here's the pitch to Contreras. A 62, and that's ball 4. Bases are loaded. So Vargas loses Contreras, and up comes Bote. Bote is a right-handed batter, batted .257 with 11 home runs and 350 plate appearances. Bases are loaded here in the bottom of the first for the Cubs at Wrigley. And it's Vargas versus Bode. Vargas looks in for the sign, and he sets and he deals. And no wild pitch, and that's a 72. He may have gotten out of this, and he does. Strike three, and that retires the side. Bode is still frozen at the plate. Did not like that call. We go to the top of the second. J.D. Davis leading it off. No, it's Dom Smith. Let's see where there he is. He was the next batter. I'm going to check and double check, and I'm pretty sure I got that right. I open up Baseball Reference to double check very quickly. I have it accessible to me. Dom Smith. No, it is Davis, and then it's Dom Smith. So it's Davis and Dom Smith, and I have to switch it on the I'm using iScore to my right. So I'm going into lineups, and I'm going to switch those two. Smith and Davis get switched. There you go. All right, so now it's J.D. Davis, just like it was in what was this? This game was played. It's a day game, Friday, June 21st, 2019. Last year, June 21st. It was a day game. Attendance was 41,000 at Wrigley Field. Game lasted 3 minutes. 3 hours and 11 minutes. J.D. Davis, there's nobody on, so we don't need to throw that. Here's the pitch to J.D. Davis. That's a deep drive off of the bat of J.D. Davis and drives it to deep left center field. Let's see what happens. And that ball is one hop off the wall, and J.D. Davis in with a leadoff double. Dom Smith, he's a lefty specialist against a righty. Here's a pitch 64, and that is strike three. Adeiny Echeverria, 1 out, runner on second. I forgot to throw the 20-sided die for the wild pitch. I'll do it a second time. Nothing, and that's a 90 and a 4, and that's a ground ball hit hard at the shortstop. Baez up with it, rifles to first, and looked Davis back to second. Thomas Nido. Here's the pitch, and that's a 51. That's a deep drive off of Nido's bat. Pulls one to the left field corner, and a 53, and that's going to be off the wall, a double for Nido. RBI double, 2-out double, and the Mets lead at 1-0. So Thomas Nido comes up clutch. Oh, it's a potential wild pitch, and a 0-7 is going to say what? 0-7 says wild pitch rating is an F. It's a wild pitch, and he is an F. So to third goes Nido. He spikes a fastball, and that goes to the backstop. Allows Nido to go to third. So 2 outs, runner on third, and Jason Vargas at the plate. And an 87 and a 4, and that's going to be a hard hit grounder. Scooped by Baez over to first, and that retires the side. Now, Baez is rated a 3, which is kind of middle of the road shortstop. What really stands out with Baez, I think, are his highlights, his MLB.com highlights. Albert Almora, right-handed batter, had 363 plate appearances in 130 games, 236 batting average. He's an above-average center fielder at a 4. Albert Almora leads it off. Here's the pitch from Vargas. That's a 31 and a 0, and that is a line caught by Alonso. L3. 1 away in the bottom of the second. Next is a 58, and that's a ground ball through left side for a base hit. So Darvish on with a single. Addison Russell is next. He's the 9th place batter. And a 70 is strikeout. Curveball gets Russell. 2 outs. Darvish back to first. Kyle Schwarber, left-handed batter. and a 56, and that's a line drive base hit. And Darvish is going to go hustle over to third base on that. Let's see, Darvish's speed, very slow, so that makes him know, you know what, he's going to stop at second. Let's cancel that. Very slow. He's not going to make it to third on this, even though there are 2 outs, and he's running on contact. All right, Chris Bryant, first and second, and a 20, and that's going to be a hit by pitch, so Bryant is plunk loading the bases. Bases loaded again here in the bottom of the second. Anthony Rizzo, left-handed batter. Anthony Rizzo drove in 94, so he's a good clutch RBI type guy. And he will strike 3. He will strike out. Great pitch by Jason Vargas to get Anthony Rizzo. And the Cubs leave 3 runs. The bases loaded. We go to top of the third. It's going to be the flying squirrel, McNeil. Oh, he fouls one back. A souvenir for a lucky fan. And it's a 30 and a 3, and that's a ground ball to the first baseman, Rizzo. He's going to beat the flying squirrel to the bag. 1 up, 1 down. Pitch from Darvish to Pete Alonso, a 21, and that's a strikeout. So second time Alonso strikes out, and now it's Robbie Cano, a 40. Is a grounder, hard hit to Rizzo. Rizzo flips to Darvish, and that retires the side. Bottom of the third, Javi Baez, a 19, and that's a strikeout. Wilson Contreras on a 22 is a strikeout. Back-to-back Hayes for Vargas, and it's Bode, 54, and that's a deep drive off Bode's bat. Gets into one, and that's going to be caught in left field. Dom Smith kind of misplayed it at first and then leaped, and he got it. So nice catch. A 22 would be there. And no, that's gone. David Bote, home run. I look like Dom Smith caught it, but he did not. So the Cubs have tied it up on the Bote home run on a 22. And next is Albert Almora, the pitch from Vargas, a 90 and a 4, and that's going to be a ground ball hit hard at Robbie Cano. Plays it on a hop, whips it over to first. Alonso scoops it. 2 out. No, that was 3 outs. And we go to Michael Conforto. Pitch from Darvish, a 0-0. That's a deep drive off Conforto's bat. Deep to right field. Chris Bryant back, but that ball is gone over the fence. Conforto gives the Mets a 2-1 lead. Next is J.D. Davis. The pitch to J.D. Davis, and that's lined base hit to left field, played on a hop by Schwarber. So Davis is on with a single. So for the wild pitch, we don't get it. Dom Smith, a 77 is a strikeout. Dom Smith chases a slider, strikes out Adeiny Echeverria. That's a 19, and that's strike 3. Back-to-back strikeouts for Yu Darvish. That was 99 on the radar gun. And it's Nito, 18, and that's strikeout. That's a strikeout. So he strikes out the side. After giving up a home run and a single, Yu Darvish gets it together, strikes out the side, and he leads off the bottom half of the 4th inning. It's a 2-1 Mets lead here. Mets picked up one in the top of the 4th off the solo shot by Michael Conforto. That's a 56, and that's going to be a ground ball and through for Darvish's second hit into left field. Addison Russell, and it's a 78 and a 6, and that's going to be a hard ground ball right at the shortstop. Echeverria flips to Cano, the relay to Alonso, and in time. So it's a 6-4-3 double play. 2 outs. Kyle Schwarber. Schwarber's 2 for 2. He's singled twice. And a 75 is going to take us to defense. A 36 is going to be a potential error. And a 12 is going to be an error on the shortstop, Echevarria. So it's an E6. And Schwarber's on at first. We're going to roll the 20 for the wild pitch. We don't get it. Here's the pitch to Chris Bryant. That's a deep drive off Bryant's bat into left center field. Dom Smith back. So is Conforto. And that ball is gone. Chris Bryant puts the Cubs up by a score of 3-2 with a moonshot that carried over the left center field wall. And the Cubs have taken the lead, retaken the lead, 3-2. Anthony Rizzo now, a 13, and that's ball 4. So Rizzo walks, and Vargas is noticeably disturbed at this point. Wishes he had that last pitch back to Bryant. Javi Baez, and a 67, and that's a strikeout, and that retires the side. But not before the Cubs pick up 2 runs on the 2-run shot by Chris Bryant. They retake the lead. They lead at 3-2 here in the top of the 5th. Yu Darvish versus Jason Vargas. And I'm going to double check. Vargas can go 9. He's gone 4, giving up a run. Been through the lineup probably 2. He can go another inning. I'm just going to let him bat 41, and that's a strikeout. So down goes Vargas swinging. The flying squirrel McNeil, 73, and that's a strikeout. Back-to-back Ks for Darvish. And Pete Alonso on a 61, and that's ball 4. So Pete Alonso walks, a 2-out walk. Bringing up Robbie Cano. Oh, that's a potential wild pitch. See what happens. A 32. And the 32 says if pitcher's a D or F, it's a wild pitch. And Darvish does throw a lot of wild pitches. He's an F, and that's going to allow Pete Alonso to make it to second. That's the second wild pitch for Darvish today. Oh, that's not the one we want to roll. There you go. All right, Robbie Cano with the tying run at second base now. And a 72. I don't believe he's going to do it, and it doesn't. Robbie Cano gets rung up, and that ends the inning. We go to the bottom half of the 5th. All right, bottom half of the 5th, it's 37 off Wilson Contreras, and that's a pop-up. Middle of the infield, second baseman Cano right there. 1 up, 1 down. Bodie, who I believe has a home run, 75, and that's a defensive check. 71 is a ground ball to the shortstop, and Echevarria, if he's a 3, will field it easily. I don't remember what Echevarria is. Let's check. Echevarria at shortstop is a 1, and he boots it. Now, that may be a 2-base error. Let me double-check that. Oh, wait. No. It was a 73 off of – that was a range play. Wait, what was it? It was a 71 range play, and it gets by Echevarria into left field for a base hit. Excuse me. Not an error. Base hit. All right, so Bodie's on with a 1-out single, and it's Albert Almora. Almora hit 12 home runs. That's a 58, and that's a ground ball up the middle and through, right past the outstretched glove of Robbie Cano. So runners on first and second. Gotten in quickly by Michael Conforto, who's in center field. So first and second, there's action in the Mets bullpen. Yu Darvish. And we're letting Darvish bat. A 31 is a strikeout. So that's 2 down, runners on first and second in the bottom of the 5th. The Cubs are up 3-2 on the 2-run shot by Chris Bryant. Hey there, Mr. Molly. How are you there, brother? Lunchtime sandwich, cheese, salad cream on white. Huh. Okay. Good morning to you. All right. So Yu Darvish strikes out, and it's Addison Russell. He's a second baseman. I remember him as a standout shortstop, but it looks like Joe Madden sent him to second base. Here's the pitch, and that's a 49er, and a 6 is a hard ground ball at Chavarria. He scoops it, flips to Cano, and that retires the side. So that's 9 left on base for the Cubs so far. Michael Conforto leading us off here in the top of the 6th. The Mets are down 3-2. The pitch from Yu Darvish, and that's an 80-2, and that's a strikeout. Yu Darvish, how many does he have? Let's take a quick peek at the box score, at the scorecard. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 strikeouts for Yu Darvish through 6 innings. Next is J.D. Davis. Here's the pitch to J.D., 70, and that's a strikeout. Back-to-back Ks, number 11 for Yu Darvish. Dominic Smith, an 87 and a 1, and that's pop foul. That's going to be Rizzo. He makes the catch, and that retires the side. 3 up, 3 down for Yu Darvish. He's looking good right now. But we're getting to that point of no return. Yu Darvish has been through the lineup. It'll be 3 times now. 3 times plus he's given up a run. That's 4, and he's pitched 6. So he's going to be done. Yu Darvish is done for the day. Let me see if he has not gotten through any innings in which he's kind of. Oh wait, that's the wrong. No, he's gone twice. He may still have. Let's see. He's gone twice, given up a run. That's 3, and he's pitched 6. That's 9. So he's used up all his points. So he'll be out. And we have some pitchers here set aside somewhere. Let's see if we can track them. I try to set aside the pitchers that kind of can be used. Yeah, lefty Rowan Wick, Cishek. He's the Pedro Strop, Kyle Ryan. So we got a bunch of pitchers ready to roll here. So Kyle Schwarber in the bottom half of the 6th inning against Jason Vargas, a 90 and a 9. That's going to be a fly ball center field, and Conforto sails under it and makes the catch. 1 up, 1 down. Next is Chris Bryant, an 86 and a 7, and that's going to be a fly to left. Dom Smith towards the line, ball hooking away from him, and he runs it down. So 2 up and 2 down, and now it's Anthony Rizzo. Rizzo's 0 for 2. He's into a fielder's choice, struck out and walked. Now they just turned in the, let me see, that'll be 3, 4, and he's gone 5. That's 9. So we're going to have to pull. We're going to have to immediately pull. We let him go a little bit too long. Want to be as close to, Vargas. We're going to get Brooks Pounder to come in here for Vargas. Brooks Pounders. And let's see. We're going to get a double switch. We're going to get a double switch. We're going to put Lagares in center. So Juan Lagares is coming into the game, and he will bat 9th. Pounders can go how many? Oh, he can only go 1. You know what? And how many in this inning? How many out? 2 out. Yeah, I'm going to pull a double switch. We're putting Conforto in right field. Right field is going to be Conforto. And then in center field, we're putting Lagares. And then Lagares is going to bat in the 9th spot. Where's Lagares? Let's see. All right, he's in the 9th spot. And the new pitcher, Pounders, is going to bat in the 6th spot. Because Conforto goes to left, to right. And who was in right? It was, I think it was somebody for the first time was in right field. Jeff McNeil's going to move to left. All right, this is kind of complicated. So there you go. So Dom Smith, Pounders is going to be in the 6th spot. And in left field, we're going to have Jeff McNeil. He moves from right to left. And that's it. All right, that was a lot of changes there, so sorry about that. And it's going to be Anthony Rizzo. So Pounders needs to get Rizzo out so he can go another inning for us. If he doesn't, everything I just did kind of backfires. So nobody on, 2 out, bottom of the 6th, 3-2 Cubs. And that's going to be a 66, and that's ball 4. So they're backfired on us. So he gives up he allows a base runner, so he won't get a chance to go another inning, according to the rules. Javi Baez now, the pitch from Brooks Pounders, and that's a 12. That's a line drive base hit single. And Rizzo is going to hustle all the way to third base. So 1st and 3rd against Pounders. And it's Wilson Contreras. We're going to look for somebody else here. It's a close game. Mets are going to bring in Seth Lugo. Seth Lugo is really the ace of the staff. Between Wilson and Lugo, they're the 2 guys that really held their own in the bullpen. A bullpen that was ugly for most of the season. So Seth Lugo's coming in to replace Pounders, who faced 2 batters and allowed them both to reach. All right, Wilson Contreras, and I think I didn't roll that one. I'll roll it again. There you go. That's a 27. A 27 is a strikeout, and Wilson Contreras strikes out swinging, and that retires the side. So Seth Lugo does his job, comes in and gets. So Lugo now can still go 2 more because he came in. He got 1 out, allowed no runners in. If you get 1 or 2 outs and allow no runners on, you can go the extra inning. So I got Lugo in there for a while now. Let's see what happens. Mets need to score some runs. They're down 3-2. Adeiny Echeverria versus Yu Darvish. Yu Darvish is also out. And we're going to see against Adeiny, he's a righty. So we're going to see Pedro Strop coming in. Pedro Strop. After this game, I'm going to take a little nap. All right, Strop is on the mound now. Strop was he's a 34-year-old. He was 2-5 with a 4.97 ERA. That's the worst he's pitched in a bunch of years. He's really held his own. I had him on one of my keeper dynasty leagues. 50 games, 10 saves, 41 innings pitched, 49 strikeouts. And it's Adeiny Echeverria leading it off. Here's the pitch. That's a 55, and that's a deep drive off Echeverria's card. And an 81 is going to be a double. Throw to second, not in time. So Echeverria slides into second base with a leadoff double, and it's Thomas Nido. Going to throw the 20-sided die, a 90 and a 7, and that's a fly ball to shallow left field. Racing in is Schwarber, gets there, puts it away. Next is Lagares. Juan Lagares, who was part of that double switch. And an 82 is going to be a defensive check, a defensive 96, that looks like. That's going to be a range check, 96, fly ball right field. And right field is Chris Bryant. Let's see what he's rated at in right field. Chris Bryant is a one right fielder, so this looks like it's going to drop in there. A 96. This game may be tied. Let's see what happens. And it does drop in, and Echeverria is racing around third, and the relay to home, and not in time. Game is tied. And we're going to check Echeverria's speed. Yeah, he's fast and he scores. So the game is tied now on that little bloop single by Juan Lagares. Echeverria read it perfectly off the bat, and there was no doubt in his mind that it was going to drop, because had it been caught, rather, he would have been doubled off easily. So a fast runner scores on that. That was perfect. And it's going to be Jeff McNeil, the flying squirrel, with Lagares on it first. Here's the pitch. That's a 57, and that is a base on balls off stroke. So bases loaded. Pete Alonso, and then we're going to see a lefty pitcher. Pete Alonso, the batter, first and second, one out. The game is tied at 3. Here's a pitch. That's a 27 and a 9, and that's a strikeout. And now we're going to bring in a lefty. We're going to bring in Ryan. Let's see. Wick. Kyle Ryan's coming in. We're writing him into the roster. Kyle. He's in there now. He's throws lefty. Kyle Ryan can go 1 inning. There's 2 outs, so he can actually go an extra inning if he gets this batter out. And it's Robbie Cano. Robbie Cano's 1 for 3 on the day. We throw for the wild pitch. Nothing there. And here's the pitch from Kyle Ryan. Runners on first and second. That's 59, and that ball is a walk. Ball's high outside. And he loses Cano. Bases are loaded for Michael Conforto. Pitch to Conforto, a 14, and that's going to be ball 4. So the Mets take the lead on the walk, back-to-back walks by Kyle Ryan. Now it's J.D. Davis, a right-hander. We're going back to the bench. It's going to be Brad Brock. Brad Brock, we're going to a righty here. And we throw for the wild pitch. We don't get it. Here's J.D. Davis. Here's the pitch to Davis. That's a 10, and that ball is lined base hit to left. That's going to score McNeil. Robbie Cano doesn't have the legs, and he's going to stop at third base. The Mets pick up an insurance run. They lead it by a score of 5-3 now. Dom Smith, a lefty. Dom Smith has an advantage in this situation. Oh, actually, Dom Smith was pulled. It's going to be Seth Lugo. And with 2 outs, we're going to let Seth Lugo bat, believe it or not. We're letting Seth Lugo bat here. So Lugo is a D. Got to get pitcher hitting card D. My 87 Red Sox are 6-11 after 17. Not very impressive. Well, I don't know. What was their record in 87? Were they a good team in 87? We're going to let Seth Lugo bat. Oh. And that's going to be a 28. That's a strikeout, and that retires the side. All right, it's the bottom of the 7th. Bote versus Seth Lugo. The Mets scored a couple of runs, 3 runs actually in the top of the 7th, and they lead it by a score of 5-3. The Mets have 5 runs, 8 hits, 1 error, 7 left on base, while the Cubs have 3 runs, 9 hits, no errors, and 11 left on base. Bote, who is 2 for 3 with a home run, that's a 59, and that's a strikeout. So the high cheese gets Bote. Albert Almora, 1 out. A 97, that's line and caught by Echeverria. Timed his leap perfectly, caught the line drive. It's a scorcher off the bat of Almora, but gets nothing to show for it. And Brad, next is going to be the pitcher, and we're going to bring in a pinch hitter. Top of the seventh, 5-3 Mets over the Cubs. Let's see. We're going to get Rowan Wick. We still got some. Caratini is going to come in to pinch hit. Victor Caratini. I believe he's a switch hitter. He is. All right. Pitch from Seth Lugo to Caratini. That's a 24 is a K, and that retires the side. Seth Lugo blows a fastball by the pinch hitter Caratini. Go to the top of the eighth. New pitcher is going to be 3 righties, 4 out of 5 righties. So it's going to be Rowan Wick. Rowan Wick is coming in. We're going to write him into the roster. Thanks for joining our presentation of the 2019 Mets replay using Deep Drive Baseball. This is brought to you by CP Cards and Dice. All right, so Adeiny Echeverria leading off against Rowan Wick. Rowan Wick was 2-0 with a 2.43 ERA in 31 games, so a above average season for Rowan Wick. He's a right-hander, 26 years old. Adeiny Echeverria. Here's the pitch, 65, and that's a strikeout. Echeverria gets rung up, and Thomas Nido, he fouls one off, pulls one foul. Pitch from Rowan Wick, a 32, and a 2 is a comebacker to Wick, feels his position, throws out Nido easily. Juan Lagares, and an 83 and a 1 is popped up left side. Baez calling for it, squeezes it, and we go to the bottom half of the 8th inning. Mets are up by a score of 5-3. Seth Lugo can still go one more inning. We're trying to get him to get us out of. We're trying to get him to go as much as he can here in this game. That's a close game, and the Mets are trying to kind of come back from losing 14 out of 15 games. That's a 98 and 8. That's a deep drive to left field. Back goes McNeil to the track and makes the catch in left field. So Addison Russell gives it a ride, but just didn't have the carry, and it's Kyle Schwarber. $78 and 84 in real life. I'm so far worse. Well, you know, I just told you I was up. I was about 5 games better than the Mets 2019 season, and then I lost 14 out of 15 games. That was not fun. Everything that could go wrong went wrong. The Mets never got a clutch hit. You know, whenever they had runners on second and third, or in scoring position, they didn't hit. They hit at other times. And it's the nature of the beast. It's the nature of baseball. All right, so it's Kyle Schwarber. He's a left-handed hitter with 1 out here in the bottom of the 8th. The Mets are up by a score of 5-3. The pitch from Seth Lugo, 3-3. And that's going to be defensive check. An 89 is going to take us to the range board. And the range board says that ball is a little flare that drops in front of Lagares. So it's a base hit for Schwarber. And the Cubs bring up the tying run in Chris Bryant. Chris Bryant connected earlier today. He's got a 2-run home run. He's walked, was hit by a pitch, and flied out. In addition to that home run, we're throwing a 67, that's a K, big K for Seth Lugo. 2 outs now. That's Anthony Rizzo. That's a 20-52. Uh-oh, that's a line drive base hit. And Kyle may make it to third. Yes, he That's a, let's see. He does not. We're going to stop him at second. So Schwarber stops at second on the single. And now it's Javi Baez. Javi Baez has the power to, oh, that's a potential wild pitch. And he's a C. That's a 62. And that reads, 62 reads that if pitchers B, C, or D, so that's a wild pitch, rolls to the backstop. And is that going to be a pass ball or wild pitch? No. It's flashed up on the scoreboard, wild pitch. So both runners advance. And that puts the tying run into scoring position. So that's not exactly what Seth Lugo had planned. And now he's facing Javi Baez. Javi Baez batted .281 with 29 home runs. He could walk him and pitch to Contreras, but I think Contreras had an even better season. .272 with 24 home runs. All right, so Javi Baez with the runner, the tying runs at on base, and the tying run at second base in scoring position. So we throw for the wild pitch. Is that that's a potential another wild pitch? What? No way. 54 this time. A 54 reads if pitcher is B, C, D, or F, wild pitch. Oh no! Back-to-back wild pitches. Kyle Schwarber scores. This is nuts. And going to third is Anthony Rizzo. Let's throw this again. Let's see if we get 3 in a row. Oh, that doesn't count. Nope. All right, here's the pitch to Javi Baez. That's a 76, and that's strike 3, and that retires the side. It's a 5-4 ball game. And in the ninth, we're most likely we're going to see Edwin Diaz, who's, not a guy that you can really trust. All right, Jeff McNeil. The flying squirrel against Rowan Wick. Rowan Wick can only go 1, but he may have been able to do that. Let's see what he did when he came in. Rowan Wick is in there, but I don't. Hold on a second. I'm checking the scorecard here. That was the top of the 8th. No. Okay, this is the Cubs. Let me see. Jeff. Okay, no, that's weird. Okay, all right. Rowan Wick. Rowan Wick has gone. We could go there. Bottom of the 8th. Okay, this is the top of the 9th. All right. Okay, I see why. All right. I'm sorry. I just my brain just stopped working for me. So this is the top of the 9th is going to be Jeff McNeil. So let's look and see who we can pitch here. Wick. Is coming in. Let's see who was in there before. Rowan Wick went. Let's see how long it was. Brad Brock, and then it was Rowan Wick. He went an inning. All right, so we're bringing a new pitcher. It's going to be Steve Sish. We got 2 lefties. Mike Montgomery's coming in. So Montgomery's coming in. We're going to add him. Mike, I had to pull him from the Kansas City team because it wasn't included in the with he was traded late in the season So that put him on the Kansas City roster. So I had to pull him out of the Kansas City roster and print that out. These cards come as a PDF format, and they come. You get every single player, so it's really good to do if you're doing actual lineups. So Mike Montgomery was pitching in these games, and he's going to come in. He's a lefty. He's going to face Jeff McNeil, leading off the top of the ninth. The Mets are up 5-4. Here's the pitch. That's a 21, and that's going to be a hit by pitch. So McNeil is immediately plunked by Montgomery. He's on at first. Pete Alonso is next. I'm going to roll a 20-sided die to see if we get a wild pitch, and we don't. And that's an 80, which is going to be a defensive check. 13 is going to be a potential error. And then a 58 is going to be third baseman. Let's see what Bote at third base is rated as. He's rated as a 1. Well, that's not good. A 58 and a 1 is going to be an E1 booted by Bote. Bobbles it. No throw to first. Couldn't get the handle. And the official scorer flashes E5. So runners on first and second now. And next is going to be Robbie Cano. Robbie Cano back from the left side. He's 1 for 3. We throw for the wild pitch. We don't get it. That's a 25 and a 4. 25 and a 4 is going to be a hard ground ball at shortstop. Baez flips to Russell. The relay to Rizzo in time. 6-4-3 double play. Hard hit right, a ground ball right at Baez. Taylor made. Let's redo that. It's going to be 6-4-3, and it's going to be one runner advances. The runner at second is out on the double play. So it's going to be McNeil at third base with 2 outs, and Michael Conforto coming to the plate. We throw for the wild pitch. We don't get it. Here's the pitch for Montgomery. That's an 80, and 80 is going to be again a defensive check, and a 42 is right above the error range, and that's going to be a comebacker to Montgomery. Montgomery, who's a top fielding pitcher, handles that easily, and that retires the side. It's going to be 1-3. And in the bottom of the ninth, we're going to see Edwin Diaz. Edwin Diaz coming in, replacing Lugo. Lugo had a great 2.1 innings. And it's going to be Edwin Diaz against Wilson Contreras. Now, Edwin Diaz had a horrific 2019. It's doubtful that he can hold on to this lead. It's a 5-4 Mets lead here in the bottom of the ninth at Wrigley Field against the Chicago Cubs. This is the second game of 4 games set. The Mets won the first game. Wilson Contreras, he's a right-handed batter, batted .272 with 24 home runs. Here's the pitch. That's a 44. And a 44 and a 2 is going to be a ground ball to Alonso. Alonso is going to take it himself. 1 away. David Bote. Bote is 2 for 4. He's homered and singled and struck out twice. That's a 0-3. That's a deep drive off Bote's bat into left field, and a 57. And that's going to split the outfielders and roll to the wall and into second base is Bote with a 1-out double. Going to roll for the wild pitch. Albert Almora is next. Here's the pitch to Albert Almora. That's an 11, and that is strike 3. Out number 2. Big strikeout. So Edwin Diaz reached back for a little extra and blew a fastball, a 100-mile-an-hour fastball by David Bote at the third baseman for the Cubs. And wait a second. I'm sorry. He blew that one by Albert Almora. Bote's on at second base, and we're gonna get a pinch hitter here. Pinch hitter for the Cubs, and it's going to be Carlos Gonzalez. Carlos Gonzalez is going to pitch here. He's going to bat with 2 outs in the bottom of the ninth. Actually, it was Descalzo. Hayward was in this as well. Let's go for Hayward. Let's go for Descalzo. He's going to have an advantage. He's a left-handed specialist. Let me grab these rules down here. I sometimes give the left-handed specialist an advantage over a righty, but I don't think it's official that I'm supposed to do that. And I'm trying to grab the rules real quick. I actually think that let me see, it should be down here. I saw him and I said to myself, oh, I don't think I'm going to need him, so I didn't grab him. And now I think I do need him because this is a crucial situation. Aha, found him. All right. So what does it say? A batter gets an advantage. Batter pitcher advantage. A batter faces if a left-handed specialist batter faces a right-handed specialist pitcher. And that's not the case. So he's not a right-handed specialist pitcher. So Daniel Descalso won't get that additional boost, the splits boost, I call it, the deep drive splits boost. All right. So I'm going to roll for the wild pitch. No wild pitch, but close. That was a 2. So it's going to be Daniel Descalso coming in to pinch hit. Now he's a left-handed specialist. Now, if Edwin Diaz was a right-handed specialist, he would get Descalso would get an advantage, but it's not the case. So there's no advantage for Descalso. There's 2 outs, tying run, and David Bode at second base. Bode is a decent, I believe he's decent speed. Yeah, he's just he'll be fast with 2 outs. Here's the pitch, and that's a 90. Oh boy, and a 4 is strike 3, and the game is over. Mets win it. Edwin Diaz does the job. And the Mets win this one by a score of 5-4. So Diaz is going to pick up the save. The win is going to go to Vargas. Mets, I'm pretty sure it goes to Vargas. Let me double check in the Cubs scorebook. Vargas was pulled in the 6th. And the Mets took the lead, I believe, in the 6th. The Mets, oh no, they took the lead in the 7th. So then Vargas is not going to get the win. It's going to be, let's see who's going to get the win here. It was that pitcher, the second pitcher in the 6th inning, whoever the third pitcher of the game was, and let's take a quick peek at see who that was. That's going to be Seth Lugo. Seth Lugo gets the win. And he deserves it. I mean, he went 2 1/3 innings. Edwin Diaz gets the save. The loss is going to go to, this is a tricky one, top of the 7th. Let's go to the Mets scorebook. The Mets in the top of the 7th. Who was that? That was 3. The 2 runs were allowed by 1, 2, 3. The third pitcher in that inning, 1 pitcher, 2 pitchers, 3 pitchers, 4th pitcher. The 4th pitcher in that inning, it was 1, 2, 3, 4. Brad Brock is going to get the loss for the Cubs. I'll run you by the line score. It was the Mets win game 74. 70, I believe it was 74, right? No, 76. Game 76. The Mets win it. And they tie their record for 2019. They have the same exact record at this point. The Mets had 5 runs, 8 hits, 1 error, 8 left on base. The Cubs had 4 runs, 12 hits, 1 error, 13 left on base. And the Mets hold on by the narrowest of margins, a score of 5-4 to beat the Cubs in Wrigley. And we go to game 3 of the 4-game set. The Mets have won the first 2 games against the Cubs here at Wrigley. Let's see what the pitching matchups are for game 3 of this 4-game set. Saturday, June 22nd. Where were you Saturday, June 22nd? Zach Wheeler, who no longer a Met, is going to go against Jose Quintana. Zach Wheeler versus Jose Quintana. Thanks for watching our stream. It's always great to see Molly. Say hello. And remember, this is CP Cards and Dice, your host, saying this is your home for tutorials and strategy and player profiles, history, reviews, news, tips, tops, baseball cards, rants, unboxings, and all the rest. I will see you guys soon. Adios.